Hospital staff said that your son was not expected to survive. Used the word miracle.
Your son had a near-death experience.
He saw things that I can't really explain.
When you first heard about the Burpo story, how did you feel?
I didn't believe it. When I first heard it, I didn't believe it. It was when I started to read the book that I was caught up from the first page.
That's a concept that is not one size fits all. You know, your vision or somebody else's vision are always going to be different. And while the movie does touch on that and certainly gives you some sense of what this boy experienced, it focuses more on the family and the conflict and the difficulty that they went through when this all happened. And I was surprised by how much of a struggle there was for Todd. And, you know, his faith being rocked by the boy coming back from this near-death experience.
The real way the story is told, the convincing details, the natural story just made me think, I need to pay attention to this.
Because it's based off of a true story, do you feel like there's more pressure or responsibility to tell it a certain way?
Absolutely. The book had sold over 8 million copies, not $8 million worth, 8 million copies when I first came across it. And now it's popped back up to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. So, yeah, I thought it was a story that everybody was going to get fascinated by and that we had to be faithful to the book in.
I talked to Randall Wallace, the co-writer-director, a few times, and we realized that we had very similar backstories. You know, he was raised Baptist, I believe, in Tennessee, and I was raised Baptist in Texas. And, you know, I thought, okay, this is somebody that he wants to expand beyond what the story is with the family and really take it and make it accessible to an audience as a feature film.
Is there much difference between the book and the movie?
There's very little difference in the experience of the book and the movie. There are a couple of differences. The cast we have is extraordinary, and we had Thomas Haden Church and Margot Martindale in the story, and their characters are combinations of other characters that were in the lives of the people. Instead of a single character, we brought a couple of characters together. But the story itself is really faithful to what these characters experienced and what the book says.
I have no business being a minister, so that was all trial by fire. I hadn't played a pastor before, but you do have respect for somebody who has to stand there in front of a group of 300-400 people and be that vulnerable.
Does it affect your personal feelings about life after death?
It is kind of the central question of anybody's life is what, you know, what's beyond, whether or not there's a period at the end of this sentence of our lives, or whether or not there is something beyond that. And I think that those ideas and that discussion, a lot of different angles of it are going to be born out of the movie. They certainly are out of the book.
It didn't really change. I would say it sort of solidified what I was sort of trained to believe when I was younger, and then as an adult, what I chose to believe. I think that, you know, after death, if there is a hopeful, loving, you know, human warmth, you know, and it's a place that your spirit can exist. I think that's a very peaceful thing to look forward to.
Is this him? Is this the man you saw?
No, in heaven everybody's young.
Is this him?
Yeah, that's him. That's Pop.